Alright guys, welcome back to another Patreon request, and this one comes from Stingy Jack, who asked me to do a new, like a Chilling Adventures of Sabrina version of Ed, Edd and Eddy. Like, basically an AU where Ed, Edd and Eddy's kind of like a supernatural high school drama. Kind of like I said, the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina or Riverdale. Just without, hopefully, the complete suckage. Anyway, so as always, if you would like to have a Patreon request done, hit the link below, head on over to my Patreon, and hit the 4th tier, where not only you can send me ask me for a request for a new video or review or whatever, but you can also check out the exclusive content over on Patreon as well. So let's get into it. So this is kind of like set as a high school. So the idea I was thinking that this is more of a high school setting for all the characters, and Double D is now a new student. He's a new student here who's come from upstate New York down to Peach Creek, and he's more or less like the new kid on just the new kid in school. And he is trying to fit in, and he is smart. Like, he does kind of show that he is kind of a know-it-all and all that, but, like, the thing is like, everyone's already treating him like the dork, except for a pair of outcasts, and those are Eddy and Ed. And Eddy and Ed are known as the jokingly monster hunters, because those two are like rumored to believe in like cryptids and paranormal activity and supernatural possessions and whatnot. And Double D's already like, he's of course a skeptic of all this, and he calls it nonsense, but it's like the only people that'll talk to him, and he enjoys like their company. Eddy and Ed are like, he doesn't believe anything they have, but like he says, dude, that shit is real. It's kind of like, that shit's real. And Double D's like, yeah, okay. So one night, what essentially happens is that when Double D's left home alone, because his parents are of course always gone, and they leave him a sticky note for food and whatnot, for to get food or stuff like that. And one night he's attacked by like this shadowy demon creature, and he's like, holy shit, this cannot be real. And then in comes Eddy and Ed, who use like silver and salt to kill it. And Eddie's like, you'll believe us now? They basically bring Double D into the fold in saying that Eddy and Ed have been hunting monsters, because Peach Creek is like a paranormal focal point, kind of like your Bermuda Triangles or your Point Pleasance. They're like, it's a focal point for paranormal and supernatural activity. It's pretty active. It's actually very active, really. And Eddy and Ed are the only two people who have been going out and fighting these monsters. Ed was the first. Eddy and Ed have grown up in Peach Creek, and their parents have essentially, like, their parents never believed them, but Ed always saw, he had his mind, even though he's still Ed, his mind was so expansive that he could see these strange paranormal activities going on where others couldn't. And then when he and Eddy were growing up, Eddy believed him because he thought he could make a quick buck off of spooky scary skeletons. But then he started seeing that these monsters are dangerous, so Eddy and Ed have more or less been playing Sam and Dean Winchester this whole time, without the Sam. They've more or less just been, it's no Sam, the two of them are just Dean Winchester, and that's not good. So Double D, intrigued by all this, and more or less wanting to know the secrets of Peach Creek, he ends up joining them, and the three of them, by night, are these three guys who are out fighting monsters and killing monsters and fighting demons, demonic possessions, alien abductions, while at the same time trying to figure out the reason behind all this. Meanwhile, with the other characters, Double D finds himself in the crosshairs of Marie Canker. And not in a violent way, of course, but in a romantic way. Essentially, Marie has been trying to court Double D, and he doesn't know what to do because he's so skittish around her. And he's like, this is so weird, because, and Eddie's like, why don't you just, because it's not like in the other show where they're like, oh, Cankers run. It's more like, yeah, they're kind of obnoxious, but we don't mind them. Like, we don't mind them. And Ed is with Lee. Ed is with May, and Eddie's with Lee, and he's like, yo, finally the third Canker sister finally found her man. Funny it's you. And they're like, so, and he's like, wait, you're dating her sisters? Why? And he's like, Eddie's like, well, they're hot, first off, and have you seen, like, literally no other girl in this school talks to us, so it's kind of nice to have that. And also, they're witches. And Double D goes, what? And he's like, yeah, Eddie. So Eddie explains that the Canker sisters are a coven of witches who practice, like, Wiccan / kind of like an amalgam of witchcraft, where essentially their mother was a descendant of a Salem witch trial survivor. They're the last in the line of the last surviving witch of Salem, and the three of them have been taught, like, pan-down magic from each generation. But the thing is that the three sisters have kind of using amalgam of different magic. Like, they've been kind of, like, it's not like there's just one school, like one branch of magic. They're more or less like they've been expanding themselves into learning, like, voodoo and Wiccan magic and druid magic. Like, they're more or less learning how to, you know, become a jack of all trades of different sorcery and spells. And they've been actually backing Ed and Eddie for the longest time. Like, they have knowledge on monsters, they have, like, magic and healing and whatnot. But the thing is that it's kind of a it's kind of a symbiotic relationship, because all this magic does take a lot out of them. So they need kind of energy to drain it, to get life from. So they kind of get that life energy from, shall we say, physical contact. Let's leave it at that. But the thing is that Marie hasn't had that connection. She doesn't have that connection with anybody. So Double D goes, so you're asking me to be drained of my life force by a woman who can bench press a truck? And Eddie goes, oh, come on, man. It's not the worst way to go if she does kill you. So Marie and Eddie do bond, and it's kind of like now a 6-person team, really. As for other characters, you have Sarah, who does not believe in this monster shit, and she just thinks it's all just pretend or one big scam by Eddie. And Jimmy is just the quiet, shy guy in the back, who's really, in this continuity, he is the host for the Spirit of Jack the Ripper. Yeah, I said that. If you're gonna go like full Chilling Adventures or, you know, Riverdale, you might as well go full tilt. He is possessed by the spirit of Jack the Ripper, that who is his ancestor, and more or less brings him, like, it's kind of like a Jekyll Hyde persona between the two. As for Naz is just the high school girly girl who is from she's the runt of the litter of a pack of werewolves. As for Rolf, he is from a family who is kind of like this druidic cult who have been trying to make a home in Peach Creek. Kevin, star quarterback, is also harnessing like magic to use as a drug to enhance himself. Johnny literally was driven mad by Plank, who is made from the bark of an eldritch god, a tree that contains an eldritch god underneath it. So yeah, pretty fucked up. So yeah, there you go, guys. That is pretty much the Chilling Adventures of Ed, Edd, and Eddy, or Chilling Adventures of Ed, Edd, and Eddy. I don't know what I'll put as the title as of this recording. You'll see. Anyway, so you guys tell me in the comments below, what do you guys think of... Sorry about the background noise, but I don't know if the mic's going to pick that up. But you guys tell me in the comments below, what did you guys think of this fanfiction idea? Did you guys like it, hate it? Comment below, let me know. And as always, thank you once again to Stingy Jack for this. And like I said, if you would like to have a video done, if you would like to have a Patreon request done, just hit the link below, head on over to my Patreon, and hit the 4th tier. And we'll go from there. Anyway, other than that, I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.